Now let's talk climate. All of last week we were in Dubai tracking the biggest ever climate summit, the COP28. There are way too many people there. Seemingly endless meetings and speeches and a lot of skepticism. Questions like, what will they achieve? Especially if the summit's president says there is no science behind phasing out fossil fuels. The statement is going viral today. These are old comments made by the COP28 president. Critics say, we told you so. The UAE is the 7th largest oil producer in the world. How can they talk about phasing out what's powering them? But like we've said in the past, it's important to co-opt oil producers, not villainize them. So what is this controversy? Can COP truly save the world? Will politics derail progress again? Our next report tells you.
On any day, Dubai's skyline is a treat to the eyes. But not last Sunday. The glitzy skyline was obscured by a thick layer of smog. The air quality was unhealthy, and it was almost ironic, because that very day, the topic of discussion at COP was health. So while the summit discussed how air quality affects our health, 70,000 participants got a live demo outside. And this was one of the many ironies of this year's climate summit. The COP28 is being held in Dubai. The venue is the Dubai Expo City, located just 11 kilometers from the Jebel Ali power complex, the world's biggest gas-fueled power station. Heading the summit is Sultan Ahmed Al Jaber, the head of UAE's state-owned oil firm.
This industry is way more effective at capturing politicians than they are at capturing emissions. And they have captured the COP process itself now and overreached, abusing the public's trust by naming the CEO of one of the largest and least responsible oil companies in the world as head of the COP.
But can these ironies derail the COP28? Well, maybe. Today, old comments made by Sultan Al Jaber went viral. And not just viral, it sparked a lot of backlash. The remarks were from an online event in November, where he says there is no science behind phasing out fossil fuels. The comments have now gone viral, especially as the country hosts the COP28 summit. Plus, fossil fuels have been a contentious point at this COP. A petrostate is hosting the summit, so obviously phasing out fossil fuels wasn't really going to be their top agenda. But the COP28 president says the idea is to find a common ground.
One statement taken out of context with misrepresentation and misinterpretation that gets maximum coverage. Again, I respect facts, I respect numbers, and these are the facts on the ground. Unfortunately. I have called on parties many times to find common ground, build consensus, and come to me with language that will work with all parties.
And this wasn't the only clashing point. On Sunday, 123 countries signed a declaration on health. It was to address the impact of climate change on health. This is the first time this issue is taking center stage. So countries were enthusiastic about a consensus. But India did not sign it. Why? Because of a lack of practicality. The declaration talks about curbing the use of greenhouse gases for cooling in the health sector. India says it's just not achievable. If it tries, it may hinder its ability to provide healthcare services, especially in rural and other areas. Which brings us to the many challenges of this COP. The world is dealing with two wars, one in Europe, another in West Asia. The global economy is still recovering from the pandemic. There is a cost of living crisis in many countries. Basically, right now, climate is the last thing on people's minds. But that doesn't change the fact that it's affecting us all. This COP28 comes at a crucial juncture. 2023 is on record to be the hottest year, and it's likely 2024 will only be warmer. A climate crisis is in full swing. We know what the solution is, and at this COP, it's time to keep the politics aside to deliver on those challenges. But can countries really achieve that, or will geopolitics derail it once again? The world is looking at the COP for decisive actions. Actions that can turn back the clock on climate change. We'll know in a week if it can deliver.